That's Dude.
That's Dude.
And welcome to Lazy Boys Night
Retro Sunday! Yeah!
Oh, you know what I love about Sundays?
What?
Movie night.
Movie night.
Greatest
for sure.
comedy ever made. No, this one.
This one.
No, this one.
This is, well, okay. So what makes a great comedy movie then? If you think that's the one and I think this is the one.
That's a really good question. Good thing we talked about it a few years ago. Check it out.
It's just two guys talking. There they go again, saying anything. Talking about nothing. Nothing new to say. Talking anyway. So much to review. So let's have a cold brew. A cold brew. Everybody's talking. It's not anything. No one's listening. Talking about nothing. They're all yammering. I can't hear a thing. Nothing I can do. So let's have one more brew. One more brew.
Oh, that's a fruity one.
I love that. I
That's
think we've had this one before.
I've never had this one before, no.
I have.
That's a grapefruit wheat beer.
That's awesome.
It's a German beer.
And it's not even, it's not local.
Hoffer. Schofer Hoffer. Whoever reads German, there you go.
We have no idea. We went in outside our regular wheelhouse of having local brewers.
Yeah, because Germany's not local.
No, and we wanted to, you know what? We wanted something nice and refreshing and different.
It's like dessert for your...
It is. It's like, if you know what? If I was on vacation, this would be breakfast beer.
Oh.
Right? This is
Oh,
breakfast beer.
yeah, this is totally the grapefruit thing going on.
That's
That
totally
is really
breakfast
good.
Beer.
All right, you know what else is good with breakfast? The crappy
crazy.
bowl of mystery.
I was going to say crazy, but it's
Oh,
crappy.
dude.
It's
not
crappy.
crazy.
Is it crazy?
It's crappy.
It's
The
crappy.
crappy bowl of mystery.
So we've established that. That's
Who's
the
picking,
name
you
of
or
it.
me?
I think it's my turn.
Go ahead, pick.
I don't know. I can't
look.
remember.
Don't look. Reach up high.
Wait, can you go? Can one of you go check out
It's
the
crappy
last
bowl
episode?
of mystery.
Go check the last episode. Tell me who.
No, don't leave. Watch this. Don't leave.
Well, they can pause it. Go see
No,
who was
because
the
then they
last.
gotta load a different video and then come back
That's
to
true,
this
and
one.
it doesn't even matter, right? Because if you're looking at one, it's
It's
going to
crappy
automatically bring you to the
bowl of
next
mystery.
Okay, fine. Crappy bowl of mystery. Huh?
That's the question.
A legitimate question.
Yay!
Is this Stefan or Stefan?
Stefan.
Steven. I think it's Steven.
Steven? Steve.
Steven from Melbourne.
Melbourne, Australia?
I don't know. It's just Melbourne. Is there another Melbourne?
I'm sure there is somewhere. I mean,
Steven from Melbourne. Where are you from? Like
Melbourne?
what country? I mean, sorry. Does that sound like that was passive aggressive? Wasn't it?
A little bit.
Where are you from?
Little bit.
So Steven wants to know what makes a great comedy movie. That's an awesome question. I like that. Did I just throw that on you?
You
Did
did.
you get a paper cut?
That was comedy right there. Ow.
That was comedy. Ow.
No. Actually, that's a tough question.
What makes a great comedy movie? Very specific though.
I think that's
Not
a
stand up.
more difficult
Not-
question than
What?
zip. Zip. I think that's a tougher question than we think because the times change. And if you look at different
Yes!
eras, are you agreeing with me
I
again?
am. Oh my god.
Ah!
Ah!
If you look at
I
different
hate agreeing
eras,
with you.
comedies that were
Yes.
great then, and then you look and they're no longer funny.
I have the perfect example. I got the perfect example.
What is your perfect example?
Pink Panthers.
I was thinking the same example. If you look at the Peter Sellers movies,
Yes.
back when they came out, people were
Yeah.
lauded them as being a genius comedy film. You look at them now, you're like,
Wait. Okay, I just made a reference. I realized that the original Pink Panthers with Peter Sellers
Yeah.
is old. But the ones with Steve Martin are still considered old now. Right?
now. But they're still funnier, I find, than the Peter Sellers one. And I know a lot of old people will be offended.
So we just talked
Young
about
people
a
won't care 'cause they don't
super
know what it
old
is.
movie. And an old movie.
1960s
Movies,
Peter
bro.
Sellers. See, back in the 30s and 40s, you had vaudeville, and then when they started adapting that to film, comedy was fast-paced, bang, 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 Abbott and Costello, all these things.
Yeah.
And then for some reason in the 60s, I think it's because everybody was smoking up and everything slowed down. And here's how a Peter Sellers comedy went. Here's the joke.
Set up.
Wait for it.
Set up.
It's coming.
Set up.
It's coming.
Set up.
It's coming.
Set up.
It's almost there.
Yeah, there it is.
There's the punchline. And you're like, oh my God, seriously? You saw it coming a mile away. And
People still laughed though back then.
they did, but I think they were
I think
all
there
high
was the only
too.
comedy there.
And
But,
that would
hey,
happen 4 or
you know
5
what?
times throughout the
Wait.
movie, and that was the movie.
Isn't that when stand-up comedy actually really started? Is when those movies were... So there was like a gap in... Is that possible? Is that...
I don't know. I have no idea about
We'll
the
look at that
history of
some other
stand-up comedy. But then that
Just a
era
theory.
passed, and
It's
then
just a theory.
comedy.
It's just a theory.
You had like crude comedy. You had weird comedy. Look at like movies like Airplane and Top
Like
Secret.
spoofs, I
Yeah,
guess.
spoofs,
Yeah,
but not just spoofs because they weren't spoofing anything as much as they were just being ridiculous.
Yeah, what they were spoofing...
Maybe a genre, but still.
Exactly.
And then
That's
you
the
got
word I was
like,
looking for.
and you look at like the Adam Sandler type comedies versus the Judd Apatow type comedies.
Very different.
Very different.
Very different, yeah.
And I just saw recently Tuesday, because it's cheap day on
That's
Tuesday.
recently,
it's very
or
recent.
maybe now, depending on when you're
Tonight's
watching this.
Thursday. I saw
Yeah, because
Happy
Thursdays
Time
is
Murders.
Lazy Boys Night.
I saw Happy Time
Lazy
Murders.
Boys Night. Thursdays.
Shut up. I saw Happy Time Murders, which was like shock value humor.
Happy Times.
Happy Time Murders. It's
Happy
the one
Time.
with the puppets with what's her name, Melissa McCarthy.
Yes. All right.
And the puppets.
I love you,
And
Melissa.
it's funny, but in a shock value way rather than traditional humor way. So humor is constantly changing, and I think that's a good thing because if it stays the same,
Shocking, a bit like Avenue Q.
shocking like Team
mean-
America.
Oh, Team America shocking.
Yeah. These
That's shocking.
the tagline says it. No sesame, all street. Okay, this is not a movie for kids, even though
Okay.
there's puppets. So, but still shock value.
Okay, I'll stop cutting you off now.
Thank you. Okay, so I think it's important for comedy to keep evolving and changing, otherwise we get tired of the same old thing.
True.
So what makes a good comedy? Well,
That's
that's
the
hard to
question.
say because things are constantly changing. However,
Mm-hmm.
I think beyond that, there's always a few constants.
Okay.
Here's
Go
a
for
rule of you know, of what I understand from performers. The
Is that
number
your
one,
rule, or a rule you've heard, or a rule you understand?
I understand and I've read.
Okay.
Comedy comes from pain.
All of it, or some of it.
Well, pain is a large term here. Doesn't mean physically hurting, but it's comedy comes from any situation that is uncomfortable or painful. The shock value, the left turn, I'm expecting this and this happens, and you're like, what? Go from anything as classic as, remember The Simpsons when they had the episode with the film festivals and Homer voted for football in the crotch because it had football in the crotch? Why? It's funny? Because the guy gets a football in the crotch. It's pain. It's funny. Slapstick came from that. Anything that makes you go, oh my God, because it's so uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable, I give you that.
Remember
Yeah.
Borat?
Yes.
That was hilarious. Why? Because it made you
So
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when you see anything funny, it's because it's awkward or painful for the person. Imagine if I told you a story. So I went and had dinner with my parents, and they served roast beef, and we had a nice conversation at the end. That's not funny.
Okay, so
But if I have the same conversation, say, I had dinner with my parents, and my mom started talking about menopause and all sorts of weird stuff that makes me uncomfortable because it's my mom, it becomes funny. In fact, Canada's about to legalize weed, right? My mom was talking about wanting to make pot
what?
brownies. She wanted to make... My mom's 78, and she's asking me about pot brownies. That made me very uncomfortable. That's funny. Pain. Humor. Pain.
ah, so that's your point of view.
Yes.
Okay. My turn.
Go ahead.
Jeez, that was quite. Yeah. Thank you, Stephen. You got him going.
Thank you, Stephen. From Melbourne. Melbourne?
Yeah,
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Yeah, or in Melbourne, whatever. I don't know where you're from. So you're saying it stems from pain or awkwardness.
Yes.
What I'm getting.
Yes.
And what makes a good comedy film for me is sarcasm, and not necessarily it's playing on the situation or playing on the people and the situation less uncomfortable, or does that fall back into being uncomfortable?
It does,
Is
because
that what
let's think.
sarcasm is?
Well, what else would sarcasm be?
I don't know. What do you think it is?
It's being dicks toward each other, being uncomfortable.
Holy frick, man. That's true.
Now, I agree you got to involve with the times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you agree with me again?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I didn't agree.
You suck.
I just said yeah because you wanted to hear it.
But what makes a great comedy? I think also originality. I know it's hard.
Yeah. Taking a subject that's never been dealt with before. I think of that. You know what? I think that maybe a comedy movie is a bit in the same style as stand-up comedy. When you have a new comic that's out and is all the rage, is either because of their style or their delivery or what they're talking about is so new, so different, I guess, fresh, and that makes it funnier because it's something we haven't seen in
Pretty much, because if you do the same old thing, after a while, well, we've heard that.
So
We've
the
seen
evolution of comedy. So I guess what we're saying is that because we had spoken about different films like The Three Amigos. The Three Amigos is, to me, a classic comedy movie that I still find funny today. But is it still funny to me because of where I come from when I grew up in that comedy time? Or do you think somebody being early 20s, late teens now would find Three Amigos funny? Because we know the three actors.
I think they might still find it funny because there's also the premise that everything old is new again.
Okay.
And if it's gone around enough that people forgot this, when you bring it back, that's always the trip about nostalgia. It's funny again. Had you done the same thing 5 years later,
Maybe not
it's still
so much.
fresh.
Okay.
You know, and you see that with a lot of movie sequels, comedies. First one was great. The second one, you're like,
Meh.
same old jokes again. Wait 20 years, it's hilarious again. Why? We haven't seen it in a while. It's been 20 years.
Well, it's like Monty
generation.
Python, The Holy Grail. I watched it again recently. I hadn't seen it for a very long time, and I thought it was great. And I don't know if it's because I thought it was great because I remember it being great, or if it's actually still great. So go watch Monty Python, The Holy Grail, and let us know if you think it still stands up, if it's still funny. I'm curious. I want to know.
I think it's still funny. I think nobody's
we
done
think
anything.
so, but
Yeah,
I wanna
I
know
also
if
think
they
nobody.
think so.
I agree. I also think nobody's done it anything like that.
No.
So I think it stands alone as an original piece.
Okay, so what's the? We don't know. I think it's the evolution of comedy.
Yeah,
what
let's
makes a great
talk about
comedy?
evolve. Comes from pain. The
Sure.
original. And football in the crotch is always funny.
I don't think it's funny anymore. I don't.
Really?
I mean, don't think it's funny no more.
Really?
Oh my god! I just.
What
love
about a
that
crappy bowl
accent.
of mystery in the crotch?
Oh!
That was funny.
All right. See you next time.